Hello, I'm Dr. Maria Rosario Sevilla, and I would like to thank the American College of Cardiology and the Philippine Heart Association for inviting me to speak to you on the topic of what is ChatGPT and will it replace us. No, I did not use ChatGPT to create this presentation. I just want to say that I am not a software engineer nor a computer professional, just an intuitive learner and an early adopter of digital technology, especially when the tech can be used to improve the practice of medicine. So this presentation is directed for the regular non-techie people out there. It is important for us to realize that it has been the overarching intention of computer science since the 1950s to create machines that will replicate human intelligence and behavioral patterns. There has been great progress in moving towards this goal in the last couple of decades. Machine learning refers to the ability of computers to analyze large data sets even without direct or specific instruction from programmers, while deep learning occurs when networks of thousands of computers work together, going through layers of data to achieve a task and produce output in a manner similar to the brain's neural networks. Artificial intelligence, or AI, is now very much a part of our lives. Whether you talk to Siri or Alexa, or even just search for trending topics on the different apps on your phone. In fact, using Google is one of the best examples of how deep learning has permeated daily life. Among the medical disciplines, it is cardiology that is supposed to be a front runner in the use of digital technology. The use of electronic medical records, our computer-based ECG programs, the use of smart wearables, and our imaging modalities, as well as our penchant for statistical algorithms and outcomes prediction, have swept practically all cardiologists into the computer age. The newest frontier in deep learning is the recent availability of generative AI, which allows the creation of new content such as text, images, audio, and video, which are based on large language models and similar programs. However, the latest breakthroughs are the release of transformer programs, which have allowed computer scientists to train larger and larger models without having to label the data in advance. Now, this is where ChatGPT comes in. The research preview version was released in November 2022 and was made accessible to the general public for free. So, what is it exactly? GPT refers to Generative Pre-trained Transformer, the software that allows it to work with billions or trillions of data parameters, while the chat portion refers to the UI or user interface, which was made easily accessible to anyone who had a keyboard. All you had to do was register for a free account at the OpenAI website, then you can carry on any kind of conversation you want with ChatGPT. Because it was trained on vast amounts of data created by humans, ChatGPT could now replicate and produce human-like text products. In other words, ChatGPT was copying patterns in sentence and paragraph construction based on what had been previously written and included in its training datasets. Thus, it could produce poetry, letters, research papers, it could do translations, and even assist in writing computer code. We can simplify the explanation by comparing this to predictive text, which we all have on our phones and laptops. That software program gives you word choices, which usually come one after another in standard sentences. Only this time, ChatGPT is predicting patterns of common words and phrases strung together in paragraphs and pages. Thus, it is possible that the program is just lifting or rewriting materials that have been previously written by other authors, giving rise to concerns about plagiarism and copyright infringement. In fact, best-selling authors like George R. Martin and John Grisham are now suing OpenAI for systematic theft of their proprietary intellectual property. Now, this ease of access to the program immediately sparked a frenzy. As you can see, by February, ChatGPT was the fastest growing consumer app in history, now superseded only by the release of Meta's Threads app in July 2023. ChatGPT was asked to write plays, even create a prequel to the Game of Thrones, and even write major research papers. It was made to take bar exams in Minnesota, where it passed, but at the level of a C-plus student, and also survived a business management exam at Wharton, where it was given the equivalent to a B or a B-minus student because it struggled with basic math. As far as medical school was concerned, ChatGPT outperformed two well-ranked medical students in multiple choice questions in cardiology and vascular pathologies and managed to pass the US medical licensure examination by answering 60% correctly for the GPT 3.5 version and 90% for the GPT 4 version. GPT also passed the European exam in core cardiology. So the next step was to see how helpful it would be in the practice of cardiology. So, knowing how people already consult Dr. Google on everything, ChatGPT was tested to see if it could handle simple cardiovascular disease prevention questions, and it provided largely appropriate answers. The only caveat here was that ChatGPT could also come up with very well-written replies which were convincing but totally wrong. So before it can be used for patient education and communications, generated replies should still be reviewed for appropriateness. Finally, in an effort to determine if ChatGPT can assist in the diagnosis and management of patients, it was fed anonymized patient case vignettes by the Amstel Heart 2 group and queried about diagnosis and management recommendations. Their study showed that the ChatGPT could be helpful as diagnostic aids for low complex medical questions with a 90% batting average, but could not be relied upon in cases where an expert consultation is usually sought. Please note, however, that ChatGPT is not designed to be a medical AI app. In fact, the developer, OpenAI, has stated that the free version, ChatGPT 3.5, was trained on information available until 2021 only, so that it may produce erroneous or dated answers to some queries. Also, the free version is not connected to the internet, unlike Google or Bing, so that it will still be best to counter-check the responses for correctness. ChatGPT has also been known to hallucinate or make up facts. And as this pair of New York lawyers discovered, they realized that they had failed to double-check the citations and references used by ChatGPT in the legal brief that they submitted in a court case. Now, this is just another illustration of how ChatGPT can come up with a very well-written and convincing tome, but still be totally wrong. So, if ChatGPT is so intelligent, why can't it be relied upon to include only correct and accurate information? Remember that ChatGPT is designed to mimic text outputs based on what it learned from its human trainers and training datasets. It works only with what it was fed, and it will regurgitate the predominant pattern of information, no matter its veracity or reliability. This is similar to what happens when you Google information. The first one on the list will usually be the most popular answer, but not necessarily the correct or reliable choice. A note about privacy concerns with ChatGPT. The reason the research preview version was released to the public for free was so that the program could learn from people outside of the OpenAI setup. So they do advise people that the content is being reviewed by the company and that their conversations may be used to improve and train the system. So please be careful about the information that you mention in your exchanges with it. So, will ChatGPT replace the cardiologist? If your work requires you to go over bodies of information requiring analysis and management, like reading ECGs, echoes, and other imaging modalities, then the computer can probably do those tasks faster and more efficiently. If you need to answer simple questions repeatedly or accomplish redundant administrative forms throughout the day, then that type of work can be passed on to the computer. However, when it comes to the analysis, diagnosis, and management planning of complex medical cases, the creation or development of novel ideas, and adherence to ethical considerations, it may take some time for the computers to achieve that level of intelligence. Most of all, it would be difficult to approximate the empathy and warmth that exists in the physician-patient relationship. Hopefully, it will take some time for the machines to replicate that, although interactive robots like these are already available in Japan and other countries. In summary, ChatGPT is a software that can serve as a shortcut in the handling of billions of data points. Under proper supervision and training, it may be assigned to take over tedious and repetitive duties, saving time and allowing the healthcare workers to focus on the more important task of caring for the patients. However, at this stage of the game, the cardiologists should stay abreast of the rapid changes that are occurring in this field of science so that they can assure that ChatGPT and its peers will remain within their supervision, programmed to do what needs to be done, and all within the bounds of regulation and ethical use. Allow me to leave you with this thought. Is artificial intelligence in its current state already equivalent to human intelligence? It was British mathematician Alan Turing who is credited with creating the first computing machine during the Second World War, and he famously proposed the test for machine intelligence known as the imitation game. In so many words, he proposed that if a machine can fool a human into thinking that it is a human, then that machine can be deemed intelligent. ChatGPT is now reproducing writings made by humans. So does this mean that machines have achieved human intelligence? But that is a discussion for another day. Maraming salamat po.